Okay, today I will walk you through LazySysAdmin vulnerable machine that has been released on VulnHub website. In this basic vulnerable machine, we will try to infiltrate the machine and eventually we will get root access. This is the final objective, which is getting root access. So I'm going to walk you through how to achieve and accomplish this. First I have let me search for the interface here. Okay, first thing first, I have done my nmap search and found that I have the server IP address is 192.168.118.147, and here are the open ports along with their services. A more deep scan, I have identified the version and the name of each service, and along with the ports associated with that service. As you can see here, the SSH and the port TCP, along with some files that have been fingered by the nmap, along with Samba server running on port 139 and 445. Also, there are some other IRC stuff here. So then here are I've used searchsploit to search for the vulnerabilities that might be identified for the current version of the server, but nothing worked here. So I moved out from this, okay, to my Nictoscan here. I'm going to show you what are the vulnerabilities that have been identified by Nicto here. Then I have scanned the host for possible vulnerabilities, and I found that the server is running Wordpress installation, and in addition to phpMyAdmin. So the first thing comes to mind is using WP scan here, as you can see here, and I use WP scan to enumerate possible vulnerabilities and identify possible loopholes that can be taken advantage in order to have access to the WordPress. So here's the version of the WordPress, and the more interesting thing is the username is admin. I tried to brute force the system, but I have failed in this. As you can see here, I tried several times to brute force the system but failed. Then I have here I've decided to use, as I've said before, that we have a Samba server running on the vulnerable machine, then using Samba client to connect to that server. So we said that from the nmap scan that the server is using Samba for shares and work group stuff. So I've run SMB client to connect with that server, and as you can see here, move a bit. Okay, here. Okay, now here I tried to connect to the server which is running Samba client, and I've discovered that I have possible shares from the scan here. As you can see, we have print, we have share, we have IPC, and the server name is LazySysAdmin. Then I tried to access those shares. As you can see, I have come across possible errors and some like trails, error and trail. And then with the right commands, I have been able to access the server here. As you can see, I have listed the commands. I listed the current directories here. As you can see, we have WordPress, we have deets, we have WP and other files. Then eventually I've been able to download the two files, which are WP config and deets. So if we open WP config here, as you can see, WP config contains the database username and database password, as you can see here. Okay, so here I've used those credentials to access the database. As you can see here, I've been able to access the database and the schemas here, but nothing works in this using this way. So I've tried those credentials, the same credentials I've used to access the WordPress dashboard here. I've tried to use a Metasploit. I'm going to show you here. Here I've generated PHP reverse shell payload using MSF console and used the code for this payload here, okay, and placed that code in the WordPress editor's theme template. As you can see here, I've placed the code for the PHP reverse shell made by Metasploit and try to access this PHP file using the right listener on Metasploit, but it has not worked, unfortunately. So I moved to see the contents of the file deets here, and interestingly I've viewed a password 12345, and apparently the sysadmin or the lead sysadmin was waiting for the right time to remove this password. As you can see, there's a note here: remember to remove this file and update your password after we push out the server. But unfortunately and unluckily for us, he forgot to do so. So here is the password. I've made use of this password and tried to access the SSH server here. If you try to SSH the server, okay, after trials and error here, I've been able to access the SSH server using the username Togi. Okay, why Togi? Because here I have the password Togi MySQL 12345, and Togi is a user in the WordPress dashboard. So I have used this username and typed 12345 password, which we have previously seen in deets file, and I've been able to access the SSH server, trying to escalate my privilege. Eventually, here with the right command sudo -i, I've been able to have root access to the vulnerable machine, and the challenge has been completed. Thank you for watching.